So I see this new trend that's going around the UK at the moment. People are finding little white spaces and painting the St George's Cross and proudly shouting about reclaiming English identity, mate. Not sure who you're reclaiming it from, to be honest. Deliveroo, immigrants, your local GP. Anyway, I happened to ask a few of them, "Alright mate, can you tell me about the story of St George?" That's when things got a little bit awkward. One of them just told me to go back to where I came from. And I said, "I've already eaten at Nando's, mate, why would I return?" Anyway, he looked confused, probably needed some subtitles. So I thought I'd do a short history lesson for all those patriots out there. The real St George. St George was born in the 3rd century in Lydda, which today is known as Lod in Palestine. His father was from Cappadocia, modern-day Turkey. His mother was Palestinian. So, England's most famous saint was actually a Turkish-Palestinian refugee. He served as a Roman soldier, but when Emperor Diocletian began persecuting Christians, George refused to follow orders. He was actually in that army. He was tortured, imprisoned, and eventually executed, not for slaying dragons, but for standing up to state violence and religious oppression. That's what made him a saint. Not nationalism, not empire, moral courage. So how did he end up in England? So interestingly, crusaders returning from the Middle East brought back his story. See, they loved the symbolism, a brave knight standing for faith, and in the 14th century, King Edward III made him the patron saint of England. But get this, St George never even set foot in England. He had no ties to this island, he didn't even speak English. He probably ate hummus, and he most definitely wasn't white. Fast forward to today, and his cross, once a symbol of virtue, is now waved at marches by people who can't even spell virtue. They chant slogans against immigrants, against Muslims, against Palestinians, against anyone, to be honest, of colour, while waving the flag of a Middle Eastern Christian refugee. Oh, the irony. You see, St George would have been the guy that they tried to actually deport. And here's the kicker, even Muslims revere him. He appears in Islamic tradition as Jirgis, a righteous man who defied idol worship and died a martyr. Same story told by two faiths, united by principles, not politics. Next time you see that flag, ask, are we celebrating St George or just projecting our own ignorance onto a symbol that we don't even understand? Because if you really knew his story, you would realise the Red Cross isn't a call for hate. It's a reminder to stand up for those being crushed by power, no matter where they're from or what they believe. Wherever you are in your journey today, I wish you the best of success. Keep going.